My doctor takes a holistic approach to disease. Ecological problems usually require holistic solutions. She took her son to holistic and psychic healers. Groundbreaking research into fertility problems. Innumerable flags of all colors. The innumerable stars in the sky are too far from us. He has invented innumerable excuses, told endless lies. The project has been delayed by innumerable problems. We went out to dinner on her birthday, and as a matter of course we paid for her meal. As a matter of course you must go there yourself. It was a matter of course that police officers received special training. We're all just marking time, waiting for Wednesday, marking time until she goes off to university. We were just marking time until we received our instructions. This situation must have people quaking in their boots. Every time I get on a plane, I quake with fear. He stood outside the head teacher's office, quaking in his shoes. A mass of white blossom tinged with pink. This visit will be tinged with sadness. There was a faint pink tinge to the sky. In their sound you'll find punky tinges and folky tinges. He and I go way back. We go back a long way. Her imagination had gone haywire. The radio went haywire. Crazy is going haywire with grief. If I don't take a break from work soon, I am going to go haywire. A political has-been. The lifeguard jumped into the water after noticing someone in danger. He was quick on the draw to help. He is a dangerous criminal, quick on the trigger. He gunfighter was so quick on the trigger. Brian was as gentle as a lamb and wouldn't hurt anyone. In all his years as a book publisher, he rarely backed the wrong horse. A man can work from sun to sun, but a woman's work is never done. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. All play and no work makes Jack a mere toy. The vacation is over. Back to the salt mines. Their bean counters will switch to a new way of calculating GDP. I am not going to break my back to this job for such a low salary. His doctor said that his illness was brought on by stress. His doctor recommended that he stop burning the candle at both ends. I quit my job at the law firm because I am burning the candle at both ends. Our new boss is a cold piece of work. She's a cold piece of work. Did you see how she treats her husband? She is a cold piece of work. Some dirt got inside the gears and gummed up the works. The new regulations have gummed up the works in the office. He spent 8 years rebuilding the house, a labor of love. He's broke after shooting the works on that new office building. I emptied my bank account and shot the works on a trip to Mauritius. She had to work her fingers to the bone to make enough money to raise her kids. Dora's eye fell on him. Any port in a storm. I guess some people will choose any port in a storm. I become an actor, but I think you should stop chasing rainbows. If you are chasing rainbows, you are wasting your time. It's been lovely weather for ducks lately. He lost his job, but somehow his family weathered the storm. To minimize her quivering, she pressed her chin against her chest. A man with a quivering voice. The tree's branches stopped quivering. Quivering dread was settling in her bosom. She couldn't help the quiver in her voice. I have more than one arrow in the quiver if this particular career path isn't to my liking. I'll fight fire with fire and do the same by finding out things about their past. The governor finally met his Waterloo in the last election. After beating dozens of challengers, the champion finally met his Waterloo. I'll take a stab at the answer, but I don't really know for sure. She took a stab at solving the problem. He fell asleep at the wheel. We were so lucky he didn't make an accident. They planned to trip the light fantastic at the awards gala. Let's go out tonight and trip the light fantastic. It is dangerous to jump the lights, you may have a terrible accident. They'd made her feel like a fifth wheel. I feel like a fifth wheel here, and there is so much to do at home. She has itchy feet again. She says she will travel to Brazil. 2 mortuary attendants escorted the deceased body from the morgue to the burial site. Mortuary is a place in which dead bodies are kept until burial. The cadavers were bagged and removed to the city morgue. Editor in charge of the morgue. She can stop the video and rerun a short sequence. I've got a meeting downtown in 20 minutes, so I'll have lunch on the hoof. We'll be back in a jiffy. We're made up about the baby. Because your dad's a manager, he's got it made. The mullet is a hairstyle in which the hair is cut short at the front and sides, but is longer at the back. This man is just a freeloader. I've had enough of freeloaders. The trust was founded by an American philanthropist. Fantasy is an unrealistic byproduct of that imagination. His researches had moved into the realms of fantasy. The notion of being independent is a child's ultimate fantasy. It is a misleading fantasy to suggest that the bill can be implemented. It is ludicrous to fantasy disinventing the hydrogen bomb. He sometimes fantasized about emigrating. One might fantasize the death of someone seen as a threat. Fancy is a contraction of fantasy. Block party is a party for all the residents of a block or neighborhood, usually held outdoors. He is looking a little pained and discombobulated. The pills starts to kick in. A rambunctious tyke. I've been there, done that, got the video and the t-shirt. Heart attacks had reduced his mother to a wraith. She has a little muff in which, from breezes rough, her hands find shelter. She carried a little fur muff. I was so pumped that I overdid everything. She felt ready to bail out of the corporate rat race. The state will not bail out loss-making enterprises. Hoarding disorder is a mental health disorder in which people save a large number of items whether they have worth or not. Have you tried this ice cream? It's the bee's knees, it really is. We'd think we were the bee's knees. We thought he was the bee's knees. Concussed players were reviewed by a doctor before being allowed to return to action. Tuck the throw-in beneath the couch cushions. Sofa throws serve a decorative purpose. I took you for granted. Don't be such a spod. Swat up on the country's driving laws before you go. Kids swatting for exams. I refused to consider a man of the cloth as a suspect. You'd believe a man of the cloth, wouldn't you? A figure among ciphers means, in the kingdom of the blind, a one-eyed man is a king. The perfect preteen bedroom. Have you ever heard the phrase, publish or perish. The solution finally dawned on him. It began to dawn on her that she was lost. He was ogling her breasts. Repertorial tag teams. We're a tag team. The secretary entered with the coffee tray and made room for it on the desk. Please make room when a passenger boards who is pregnant, elderly, or infirm. Half of the forest was cut down to make room for the road. Fish always stink from the head down. A uterine sister, born of the same mother but not having the same father. I wish I could have a do-over of the past 5 years of my life. The teacher told me that I have to do this project over because it's too sloppy. Please do over this report and try to make it more concise. Everybody deserves a do-over. He was an arrogant, standoffish prig. She was religious but not a prig. She is extremely standoffish. A calloused palm. Engine rumbling. I'm going to ask Cynthia out on a date tonight. I really dig her. I became very rebellious and opted out. The rebellious republics. I'd better go and get ready. The Electra complex is a term used to describe the female version of the Oedipus complex. Neither flushing nor dumping unwanted fish is appropriate. Aliens from other planet. Cannonball is a round ball that is fired from a cannon. Cannonballs work best in a deep pool. The skyscrapers are not needed, they're just gimmicky. Gimmicky 3D effects. A gimmick to gain votes. Werewolf is a person who changes into a wolf, typically when there is a full moon. The end. Coming next. Session 111.